My girlfriend said, "You're suffocating me. I need to live on my own." I replied, "I want you to be happy," then moved out that same weekend. When the rent was due, that's when everything started unraveling in slow motion, the way a sweater comes apart because someone tugged one loose thread. Without understanding, the whole thing would collapse. I didn't argue with her that day. I'd make some dramatic speech about how we'd been together for almost 3 years, or how living together was her idea in the first place, or how I'd rearranged my entire work life so I could be closer to her job because she hated commuting. I just nodded, packed my stuff in the back of my car, and spent the night on my brother's couch in a haze that felt like being underwater. Her name was Megan, and I swear when she told me she needed space, it didn't even sound like her voice. It sounded like someone else had climbed inside her skin and was moving her mouth for her, because 2 weeks before that, she'd been talking about adopting a dog together. She'd been sending me Zillow listings of houses we'd never afford but loved scrolling through. She'd been falling asleep with her head on my chest. And then, "You're suffocating me." It didn't match any version of our reality, I knew. But I was trying to be the good guy, the calm one, the supportive boyfriend who doesn't make a scene, who doesn't guilt trip, who doesn't try to hold on to someone who says they need space. I thought I was doing the right thing. God, I really did. For the first week after I moved out, she barely texted. Just a couple clipped updates about mail and whether I wanted the air fryer. I told her to keep it. I didn't want the air fryer. I wanted my girlfriend back. But I kept that part to myself. Then the first of the month rolled around. Rent day. And suddenly my phone lit up at 7:12 a.m. with 11 missed calls and a string of messages long enough to read like she'd been typing in panic while pacing the apartment. "Evan, you said you'd help with bills. You can't just bail. This is still your responsibility. I can't pay this alone. Why aren't you answering?" Seriously? I remember staring at the phone and feeling something in my chest go cold. Not angry yet, just frozen disbelief. Because the last conversation we had was literally her crying, saying she didn't want to live with me anymore, that she needed her own space. And me saying, "Okay, I'll give it to you. No conditions, no manipulation, just respecting the boundaries she drew." And now she was demanding help with the bills for the apartment she kicked me out of. I didn't answer until noon. I needed the 4 hours just to figure out how to talk without sounding bitter or pathetic. I finally called and she picked up on the first ring, her voice already halfway into an argument. "Where have you been? I'm having a meltdown over here. I can't pay this alone." And I said, "Megan, you told me you wanted to live on your own." She snapped, "I didn't say I want to pay for everything on my own." I swear I could hear her pacing. I could picture her messy hair and oversized hoodie and how she pinched the bridge of her nose when she was stressed. It hurt in a familiar way that made me feel stupid for missing her. "I'm not on the lease," I reminded her. "We moved in under your name. I just help with half." "Yeah," she shot back, "and now you're not helping. You told me to leave." "I told you I needed space, not abandonment." That word hit me like a slap. Abandonment. Like I'd walked away from her. Like I hadn't stuffed my life into boxes because she wanted me gone. But I tried to stay calm. "I can't pay for a place I don't live in," I said quietly. And she said the sentence that flipped the whole situation on its head. "Well, maybe you shouldn't have moved out so fast. You made it real. I just needed breathing room, not for you to actually leave." That was when it clicked. She expected me to fight her, cry, beg, do the rom-com thing where the guy refuses to walk away because love is worth fighting for. She didn't think I'd take her word seriously. She didn't think I'd respect a boundary. She shouted at me through tears. She expected control, not consequences. And now consequences were knocking on her door with the same rhythm that her landlord stepped with when delivering reminders. I didn't yell, though God knows I wanted to. I didn't say all the things burning in my throat. I didn't bring up the suddenness of her change, or the late nights she said she was working, or the co-worker named Tyler she'd suddenly started talking about like he was some kind of hero who always said the right things. I just repeated, steady and even, "I'm not on the lease." She hung up before I finished the sentence. 2 days passed. Silence. Then I got a message from her best friend, Alyssa, Someone who never liked me but tolerated me for Megan's sake. Hey, she wrote, not try to pick sides, but Megan's really struggling. She can't afford the rent, and she thinks you're punishing her. Punishing her. That word again. Like I was doing something vengeful by simply not paying for a home I've been asked to leave. I responded with the most neutral message I could muster. I'm sorry she's stressed. I hope she figures it out. I didn't hear from Alyssa again, but I did hear from Megan that night. She called me at 1:37 a.m., sobbing, not the small, frustrated tears of stress. Full body shaking, can't catch her breath sobbing. And I answered because I'm an idiot with a soft heart, or because I still loved her, or because some part of me still felt responsible for her even though she'd been the one to push me away. Evan, she choked out, I can't do this alone. I thought I could. I thought I needed space, but it's all too much and everything's falling apart. She was breaking. And there was a time, not even that long ago, when I would have rushed over in my car, wrapped my arms around her, held her until she calmed down, whispered that everything was going to be okay. But I wasn't that guy anymore. Not with her, not after being shoved out and then blamed for staying out. So I just listened. I let her speak until she eventually got to what she really wanted. Can you move back in? Just until things stabilize. And maybe if that had been all, I still might have caved. But then she added, it doesn't have to mean anything. That sentence made something sharp twist deep inside me. I don't know if she realized what she said. It came out rushed and panicked, but it was a truth under everything. She didn't want me. She wanted financial and emotional stability I provided. I was a life raft, not a partner. And she didn't even bother pretending otherwise. I quietly said, I'm not coming back, Megan. She was silent for a long time. I think she knew then that I meant it, that I wasn't just being stubborn, that something in me had shifted in a way that couldn't be undone. The next few weeks were a mess. She tried negotiating, then guilt, then anger. She told mutual friends I abandoned her. She told her mother I'd used her. She even told Tyler. I later found out that I refused to help her out of spite. But the truth had a way of slipping through cracks, especially when Alyssa finally admitted to a few people that Megan had practically forced me out. By then, though, everything between us was already scorched. And then came the part one didn't expect. Her landlord contacted me. Apparently, Megan missed rent again and had told him I was handling it. He somehow found my work email. I explained politely but firmly that I wasn't on the lease, wasn't a tenant, and wasn't financially responsible. The landlord didn't sound even remotely surprised. Figured, he said, she's been scrambling. And that was when the guilt I'd been carrying around my chest like a slab of concrete finally cracked. Because it wasn't my fault. It wasn't on me to fix this. Megan had wanted independence. But she wanted the fantasy version. The girl boss apartment living solo aesthetic without the financial reality behind it. She wanted space from me without losing the support I provided. And when I respected her decision, she called it abandonment. That's when I realized something painful but clarifying. I hadn't suffocated her. I'd sustained her. And she didn't know how to live without the stability she'd never acknowledged I brought into her life. The last time we spoke was almost 2 months after I moved out. She called to tell me she was leaving the apartment and moving back in with her mom in Wisconsin. She sounded smaller than I'd ever heard her. I'm sorry, she said suddenly, catching me off guard. For all of it, I thought I needed freedom. I didn't realize what I was losing. There was a part of me that wanted to comfort her, to tell her she'd figure everything out, to reassure her like I always used to. But I didn't. I just told her, gently, that I hoped she found what she was looking for. And when she whispered, do you think maybe someday? I said, no, not angry, not bitter, just honest. Because some things break in ways that don't get repaired, even if both people wish they could go back. So now I'm here, weeks later, writing this because I guess I need to get it off my chest. I'm not the villain she painted me as. I'm not the savior she wanted me to be, either. I'm just a guy who took someone's words at face value and paid the emotional price for believing them. And the weirdest part, I don't regret moving out. I regret not realizing sooner that love shouldn't feel like walking on eggshells with someone who keeps changing the rules of the game. If she ever really wanted space, she finally has it, and for the first time in a long time. So do I